from my arguments perspective, I leave it to Ahmed.
Thanks, Vijay. Some of the examples.
Thanks a lot, Vijay. Some of the examples which you gave, like sending an email when a purchase order is raised. That is the requirement of the customer, and I want to enhance my tool accordingly. The point is, obviously, I know, and we all know, that one component in the infrastructure is somehow in one or the other way related to the other component. You might have to look at the networking aspect, you might have to look at the space aspect, you might have to look at the bandwidth, all that stuff. But how far can you say that it goes to the enterprise altogether? Do you need to go to the complete financial cycle, complete HR cycle, complete operation cycle to just have a facility enabled or a feature enhancing of just sending an email to the customer when an invoice is generated? This is number one. Second point is, while you were just pointing on some of the facts which I mentioned over here, I would like to say that this is not something which can be neglected and then implement the or bring in the enterprise architecture team and get the solution created or approve the product which is being developed. How can you ensure that without having taken care of the compliance policies and privacy and security aspects, you can have the enterprise architects into the place? And they are giving you the exact solution related to the product which you are developing, or for that matter, services which you are enhancing in your product. See, the point here is, in order to ensure, like you quoted we have seen some of the things that in order to do a small service improvement, we do not need to have a high level of business approval impact on that. For example, in cases of change implementation, we have got different categories of changes: standard changes, normal changes, emergency changes. Standard change is a very well-known change and it is pre-approved change, and we know that in case if in the business level or in the technological level, if we need to do a change, it is pre-approved, we can do that. Do you think doing that change we need to go to the enterprise architect and take his approval? Depends upon the kind of scenario, kind of application or kind of the product which you are using. Not for every service enhancement or for every application you need to go through a complete cycle of the enterprise architecture testing and then come to a conclusion. So I would strongly and very strongly contradict your point when you say that you have to have a service improvement, and then for that you need to ensure that approval from the enterprise architecture need to be taken care of. I gave this example for enhancing the facility in the tool. Let's say this is the same tool and the same scenario which you are talking about. I need to enhance a facility in this monitoring tool to ensure that as and when an alert comes, a mail needs to be sent to a customer for that. Now for that, I just need to ensure that the configuration item which this particular tool needs to get us, he just have a look at it and ensure that configuration item is correlated with it. Number one. Number two, the network bandwidth is there to set the mail for the customer as and when the alert comes up. So, maybe a couple of more aspects, let's add to it. Infrastructure aspect is always there. So in this scenario, how can you ensure that you have to go to the enterprise level, you need to go to the CIO or CTO or take his approval? Not in every service enhancement or product enhancement or product development, we are not supposed to go to the, and that is what the reason is, most of the frameworks for the enterprise architecture, they have failed in the market to progress. When I say fail, it's not completely failed, but yes, they are facing a lot of challenges. Like, for example, Zachman's framework. Zachman's framework, it talks about focusing upon the executive management, operations, business system architect, information system architects, system developers, programmers, user support, service providers, data structure, functional activities, locations, networks, people, time, motivation, what not in this matrix. Now you tell me, just to enable an email, do I need to look at all these aspects? And so if you can try and open the second page which I have sent you, it's becoming a bit difficult for me, because in that it's a complete block paper in which the details of how the comparison between different enterprise architecture methodologies have been mentioned, like your Zachman's and then Gartner's, TOGAF and everything. Just scroll down. Down. Scroll down a bit. Go down, sir. Just little more. Yeah, just this table. Now we have different frameworks which are there into the market, or you can say methodologies for enterprise architecture. ZACPEN, TOGAF, Federation Enterprise Architecture, Partner. And on these major areas, you can see we have, this article ranks for all the different different methodologies which we have. For practical guidance, process completeness, reference model guidance, maturity, business focus. So this is the areas under which the different aspects related to the process, security, compliance and everything has been checked upon. So still the discussions are on, and there is no complete or concrete solution which says actually that for every product which you need to develop, you need to go through the enterprise architecture. That will not make any sense. That will just waste your time, my time, customers' time, and will include so many costs inside it that it would be unbearable to have a walkthrough of that. So I strongly oppose your point when you say that even for improving a small services or an email integration just requires enterprise architecture. It's completely out of focus to accept.
Yeah. Just before I conclude, I just want to add, and then I'll just leave it to the judge's discretion. So, first is about those challenges which we are talking about here. My dear friend Mohita, but I still do not accept because what we are talking about there are the challenges which even the enterprise architecture team is facing while doing an enterprise architect review. Over there, basically they are trying to say is that first option which they are saying is compliance. If a change is happening and if they have to review the change, whether will it be having a compliance or a regularity issue from various organizations, they're still really not having a complete through a 100% foolproof mechanism to review on that. So these are the challenges of the EA forum, but that basically is not saying that EA team. So but I leave that discussion. I wouldn't get into debate on that. I leave that for you to discuss with judges. Second is about see again. Unfortunately, we don't have the person who is expert in Zachman. One of the judges is actually expert in Zachman methodology, otherwise he would have answered. What he was showing was the methodologies. Zachman is one of the methodology which is used by the enterprise architects, the technical architects they use. So what the blocker, what you said was on when, how and all that. So you basically when you are doing a review of that product, you have to ask yourself a question. Will this impact enterprise? That's what red color what you were saying. That basically tells you, okay, if it is red, it is seriously important, let me have a look at it from them. So that's nothing but a technique or a tool used by the enterprise architecture. Now the rating which you were trying to compare, what they were saying is out of the 4 enterprise architecture technology tools which are available in market, they were saying which particular tool gives you. So if you would see, the first one was giving you rating 4, saying that from that particular parameter point of view, Zachman is very good. From the other parameters point of view, but those are nothing but the tools and techniques of EA, nothing to do with the product development. Another important is that we are going much above, that is, we are saying that for a simple thing, why should I go to CIO, CXO? You really don't have to. Let's not consider the enterprise architecture as something super short team. It's nothing but basically a team of technical architects who have a enterprise view sitting in IT department. So the way currently it is happening is that for server management, there would be a guy who would be basically appointed as a position called as, from infrastructure point of view, you are the technical architect. So any product changes which are happening, guys, please go ahead to this guy. So these guys are not really big shot guys who are holding positions of CIO, CXO. No, they are just simply technical architects. Only thing is, yes, this is increasing cost, but then it is getting value. So you are not really going for a hi-fi approval which will really delay your work. So those are the things which I had in this one. And I'll just conclude and then I'll give it to you. So this is where I was saying, so when it comes to enterprise-wide IT services solutions which businesses provide, and then in product development, if you are really touching those kind of IT services which are really having enterprise impact, for such products, enterprise architecture really helps. We've already seen that organizations are really having challenges from compliance perspective, security perspective, and to address this, architecture team at least is able to solve up to certain level. Yes, there is still a further amount of work which is required, but at least now that we have enterprise architecture in place, we are sure that some work will be further taken care of. Thank you.
Thanks, Vijay. Again, since the time is over, I would not like to discuss upon the points which you have taken up in contradiction to what I have focused. But still, I would like to tell you one thing, that if you go through that paper completely, and a previous one which I wanted to show, that actually tells that there is no need of enterprise architecture for every product which we develop. And I have been saying this. I'll have to repeat this. Why? Because you need to understand that which aspect you are going to touch for the application. What impact for that application or product is going to be in the environment altogether. When you say enterprise architects are nothing but a team of technical architects, there cannot be one or two technical architects within an organization. Technical architects are the people who define the technology and ensure that the technology is best suited for the enterprise vision in different domains. It could be on the infrastructure side, and again in different verticals in infrastructure, application side, different verticals in application. So technical architects are not 3-4 people sitting around there. It's a whole bunch of people who acts as an executive board or a steering team board, who talks about and discusses various aspects of implementing a particular application or a product or to the organization's benefit. So that was one thing. Okay, I'll just like to conclude this.
Will not be time for conclusion.
Okay. Okay. As far as conclusion is concerned, my thoughts are very similar to that of Vijay. When we say that the move to a true enterprise architecture is not easy as on date today. And there are many features which we need to take care of, like privacy, process security, and compliance I have talked about. We need to ensure that they are very well taken care of. We need to ensure that all those aspects are very well included in the methodology. And also, when we consult the enterprise architect, we need to check to what level are we going to do that particular product development, and in what cases do we need to consult the enterprise architects. So yes, enterprise architects are required to be considered. They are required to be consulted, they are required to be informed as well, but then it depends upon what kind of initiative the organization is taking.